Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Intelligence. Today's update might just be one of the most important ones we've covered this year. There's a growing wave of speculation across the community, and it's all focused on one name: Chase Bank. Reports and whispers have been spreading fast about a possible exchange limit being connected to the Iraqi Dinar. And if that's true, it could mean something big is happening behind the scenes. But here's the twist. While many people are getting excited, there are also strong warnings to slow down, wait, and not rush to the bank too early. So before you make any decisions, watch this video until the end, because today we're breaking it all down. What's happening at Chase Bank, what the rumored exchange limits might mean, why waiting could save you a fortune, and how timing could completely change your outcome when this event finally goes live. Over the past few days, more and more chatter has surfaced online about Chase Bank's internal system, showing new activity involving the Iraqi dinar. According to multiple discussions across the community, people claim that the dinar recently appeared again under Chase's live foreign currency listings, and this time it's reportedly linked with an exchange cap. Now that might not sound major at first glance, but anyone who's been following this journey knows that when a major U.S. bank begins preparing for operational changes around a specific currency, it's not random. It usually means the bank is adjusting for something ahead, whether that's internal testing, system updates, or even preparations for broader market activity. The key point is, something is shifting inside one of America's biggest financial networks, and it's all connected to the IQD. So let's talk about why Chase Bank matters so much in this entire conversation. Chase isn't just another local branch or regional financial institution. It's one of the largest and most globally connected banks on the planet. Chase plays a major role in U.S. Treasury coordination, international settlements, and foreign exchange operations every single day. So if a bank of that scale is suddenly adding limits or adjusting its handling of the Iraqi dinar, that's a major clue that the infrastructure for a potential exchange scenario is being prepared quietly. Think about it. No major financial institution would waste resources programming limits, testing conversion systems, or listing a currency in live status unless it had a real-world purpose. These kinds of updates don't happen for fun. They happen when banks expect potential movement. According to various reports being shared within the community, the so-called exchange limit at Chase might be set at around $1 million worth of currency per customer, though that number could vary depending on account type. Some suggest that private banking or wealth management clients might see higher thresholds, while regular account holders could face stricter limits. Now, whether or not these numbers are accurate, the idea itself makes sense from a financial control standpoint. If the dinar were to suddenly revalue, banks would need to manage liquidity carefully. That means controlling how much currency gets exchanged during the initial wave to prevent system overload and maintain economic stability. So instead of viewing these limits as bad news, they might actually signal the system is preparing responsibly for what's coming. Here's why limits might not be a negative sign at all. In fact, they might be the best proof yet that preparations are genuine. When banks establish caps or tiered systems, it's often because they're getting ready for real transactions. Think of it like traffic control. If every DNR holder in America ran to the bank on day one, it would overwhelm the system instantly. By setting limits, banks can verify currency authenticity, process exchanges safely, and protect both the customers and the economy. These steps aren't meant to stop people. They're meant to ensure that when it happens smoothly. And make no mistake, if Chase Bank is truly setting limits on IQD or VND, it's because their system is acknowledging these currencies as active. You don't restrict a currency that doesn't exist. You only restrict one you plan to handle. But with all this excitement comes one very important warning, and it's one you should take seriously. Many experienced voices in the community have been urging patience. They've been saying that when the revaluation or rate adjustment begins, the first wave of exchanges might not reflect the final or international rate. In simple terms, being first in line doesn't always mean you win big. The initial exchange window could start with a transitional or controlled rate before the broader market stabilizes. If that's the case, those who rush without waiting for official confirmation might miss out on the higher fully adjusted value. The smarter move might actually be waiting until rates stabilize and official channels announce the confirmed exchange structure. Timing in this scenario could make all the difference between a modest outcome and a life-changing one. Now, stepping back for a moment, what's actually happening inside Iraq that's fueling all of this speculation? The Central Bank of Iraq has been rolling out a series of major reforms over the past year. They've upgraded their digital banking systems, tightened money transfer rules, improved anti-fraud protections, and begun aligning their payment infrastructure with international standards. On top of that, they've signaled clear intentions to make the Iraqi dinar the dominant currency for domestic and even regional trade, rather than relying on the US dollar. That shift alone could be a massive step toward long-term currency stability and revaluation. These changes aren't small. They're part of a broader modernization plan that's setting the stage for Iraq to integrate fully into the global financial system by 2025. As Iraq's government and financial leaders push forward, major U.S. banks naturally have to prepare too. If Iraq's monetary framework becomes internationally active, systems in the United States must be ready to handle conversions, compliance, and liquidity management. Chase, being a top-tier global player, would almost certainly be involved in that process. They're already integrated with systems that handle dozens of international currencies daily, so when you see updates mentioning IQD or VND within their operational infrastructure, it's not a coincidence, it's preparation. And the fact that these preparations appear to be happening now aligns perfectly with Iraq's public timeline for monetary reform and international market integration in the near future. So, what exactly does an exchange limit accomplish? For a bank like Chase, it's simple control and protection. When a new or revalued currency enters active exchange status, volatility can spike. Banks need to control cash flow, verify note authenticity, and ensure they're not flooding their systems with excessive volume too quickly. Limits help maintain balance. For example, if each customer can only exchange up to $1 million worth during the first phase, the bank can process transactions gradually, keep reserves stable, and avoid massive liquidity swings. Once the initial surge settles and systems adapt, those limits can then be lifted or expanded. In this way, limits act as a safety valve, not a blockade, but a management tool. But let's address one big question people keep asking. Does this mean the revaluation is happening right now? The honest answer, not necessarily yet. But what it does mean is that large institutions appear to be preparing for something significant. The system updates don't guarantee a specific date or rate, but they do confirm readiness. It's like seeing construction crews put up barricades before a new highway opens. You may not know the exact opening day, but you know it's coming. The same logic applies here. Chase Bank's internal system activity doesn't confirm a revaluation, but it strongly suggests operational testing and readiness for an event tied to foreign currency changes. Here's another point worth considering. Every time similar patterns appeared in past years when major banks temporarily listed IQD or showed rate test entries, it was usually followed by policy updates inside Iraq. Sometimes it was a change in currency distribution, sometimes a new banking regulation or a digital upgrade from the central bank. And we're seeing that same sequence now. The pattern is repeating. Iraq updates its systems, banks react, and speculation rises. While that doesn't mean everything happens overnight, it shows synchronized movement, and synchronization is not coincidence in finance. It's coordination. When banks, treasuries, and central institutions move in rhythm, it means groundwork is being laid. So what should you as a currency holder be doing right now? The answer is prepare intelligently, but don't panic. This isn't the time to act on impulse or rumor. Make sure your notes are secure, counted, and verified. Store them safely and keep a clear record, including serial numbers. If and when the official exchange process begins, banks will require proper documentation, and being organized will save you hours of stress. You should also stay alert for verified public announcements. When something this significant occurs, it will be official, public, and verifiable. You won't have to rely on rumor posts or secret messages to know it's real. Patience right now is not just smart, it's powerful. And don't forget, you may have options when it comes to where and how to exchange. While Chase may be in the spotlight, other major banks such as Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citibank could also participate in any future rollout. It's a good idea to keep your banking relationships flexible. You don't have to move everything to one institution or make hasty choices. Instead, focus on preparation. Know your ID requirements. Check your account setup and understand what documentation may be needed for larger exchanges. The more prepared you are, the smoother the process will be when the time comes. Remember, knowledge and preparation are your best advantages. Many people are asking, what if I miss the first exchange window? Don't worry. Most historical currency revaluations and monetary transitions have multiple phases. There's almost never just one day or one chance. Banks know that managing millions of transactions takes time. That's why early limits exist, and that's why later phases open up once the system stabilizes. Being patient may even result in better outcomes. If initial rates are transitional, waiting could let you access a stronger, more stable market rate later on. The key is to avoid emotional decisions. Let the market breathe. Let the process unfold and act when you have complete clarity. Now let's zoom out and look at the global picture for a moment. The world's financial systems are changing fast. Digital currencies, oil trade settlements, and de-dollarization trends are all reshaping how nations handle value and trade. Iraq sits right at the crossroads of this transformation. As they expand oil partnerships and strengthen regional trade deals, having a strong national currency becomes essential. The dinar can't remain undervalued forever if Iraq wants to grow independently. That's why reforms have accelerated, and it's why banks like Chase are adjusting now. The world is shifting, and Iraq is positioning itself right in the middle of that shift. When a country starts building a financial identity strong enough to rival its dependence on the dollar, it signals a new level of economic confidence. And as Iraq continues to make these moves, global institutions are responding accordingly. That's why updates like exchange caps or new foreign currency settings inside major banks are so fascinating. They show movement, coordination, and planning. Remember, nothing in banking happens by accident. Every system update, every exchange limit, and every currency activation has a reason behind it. And the timing right now suggests that the pieces are falling into place faster than before. It's also worth noting that Iraq's central bank recently confirmed that their digital and international payment mechanisms are being fully tested ahead of new policy implementations. These tests include coordination with international partners, and that could absolutely involve major U.S. banks. So when we see reports about Chase's system showing IQD activity, again, it aligns perfectly with what Iraq has already publicly announced: increased international readiness. The connection is clear. Iraq is upgrading its side, and global institutions are synchronizing on theirs. It's all part of a much bigger picture that's slowly coming into view. Now to the part that matters most. What should you actually do when the exchange process begins? First, stay calm and verify everything. Make sure the official rate is publicly listed by banks or currency converters. Second, contact your bank for clarity on their procedures. Third, avoid third-party offers or private exchange promotions that promise faster service. Those are often scams. Only trust official banking institutions. Fourth, don't feel pressured to exchange everything immediately. If you hold a large amount, consider exchanging a portion first to secure liquidity and wait for more data before exchanging the rest. Finally, document everything: receipts, rate confirmations, and transaction IDs. Treat this process like a major financial event because it will be one. Let's also remember one fundamental truth: patience always pays when it comes to markets. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or currencies, rushing in during uncertain conditions rarely yields the best results. The same logic applies here. The first wave of excitement might bring temporary chaos, but those who stay calm, informed, and patient often come out ahead. Waiting doesn't mean missing out. It means watching carefully and moving strategically when the time is right. So if these Chase Bank updates are indeed true, see them for what they are: signals of preparation, not a call to panic. If we connect all the dots, Iraq's reform timeline, bank system updates, and exchange limit reports, one thing becomes very clear: something big is being set up quietly. It might not be tomorrow or even next week, but the foundation is being laid for what could be one of the most significant currency events in recent history. The question isn't if, it's when. And when that day arrives, those who are calm, prepared, and informed will benefit the most. The excitement is understandable, but discipline is what wins in the end. So here's the takeaway. The Chase Bank IQD limit story shouldn't worry you. It should prepare you. Limits mean organization. System updates mean readiness. Coordination between Iraq and global institutions means progress. This is the closest alignment we've seen in years between local reform and international infrastructure. The smart move right now is to stay informed, not impulsive. Watch official updates, stay connected to reliable news, and avoid hype-driven speculation. The more grounded you remain, the stronger your position when the real moment arrives. We're standing at the edge of something that could redefine Iraq's economy and potentially change the lives of everyone holding this currency. The signals are stronger, the data is aligning, and for the first time in a long time, everything points forward. So stay focused, stay patient, and stay ready. The next chapter could begin sooner than anyone expects, but the winners will be those who waited wisely. Thanks for watching Iraqi Dinar News. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The road ahead looks promising, and together we'll be here every step of the way to break down the truth, the updates, and the opportunities. Stay alert, stay informed, and remember, patience isn't weakness, it's strategy. See you in the next update. Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Intelligence. Stop everything for a moment because what I'm about to share could change the way you look at your currency holdings forever. Today we are talking about numbers that for years most of us only dreamed of seeing. Yes, the live rates are showing up for both the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong. Numbers so high they could be life-changing. The dinar just appeared at 5.03 and the dong flashed at 3.95. Let that sink in for a moment. If these numbers hold, it's not just a spike. It's history unfolding before our eyes. For years, investors, traders, and everyday holders have waited for this moment, and it seems the waiting is finally over. I'll break down what these numbers mean, why they're appearing now, and what could happen next. Stay with me because every second of this update could be a major clue about what's coming. Just a few hours ago, currency watchers noticed unusual activity on internal forex systems, the kind banks used to test rates before making them public. Suddenly, the Iraqi dinar flashed at 5.03 and the Vietnamese dong at 3.95. These weren't random numbers. They were live bank-level values appearing on professional trading platforms. Even though they didn't show up on public exchange apps, people in the financial world were seeing them. Multiple traders from different countries confirmed the same numbers almost simultaneously. When rates like this appear on testing screens, it's often a signal that central banks are ready to make adjustments. These aren't rumors or speculation. These are live numbers seen on professional systems, and their appearance is a big deal. So why is this happening now? Both Iraq and Vietnam have been steadily preparing for a major currency adjustment. Iraq has completed several rounds of monetary reform discussions with international financial institutions, aligning its banking system with global standards. The Central Bank of Iraq has repeatedly stated they are ready to adjust the exchange rate to reflect true economic value. Vietnam has been steadily modernizing its financial system with digital banking, trade agreements, and gold-backed restructuring. All steps pointing toward a stronger, globally competitive currency. When you see numbers like 5.03 for the dinar and 3.95 for the dong, this is not fantasy. It's a reflection of the economic progress both countries have made behind the scenes. The appearance of these rates on internal testing screens is a huge signal. Historically, internal testing rates flash like this before a global update. Banks and trading desks run these tests to ensure their systems are synchronized for major changes. This is exactly what we're seeing now. Screenshots started circulating online, but unlike past attempts, these are clear time-stamped captures from actual trading terminals. Independent traders confirmed these numbers, reinforcing that this wasn't an isolated glitch. Seeing both the dinar and the dong flash high-value numbers at the same time is unprecedented, showing coordination at a global level. This could mean the currencies are about to be officially revalued. The implications are enormous. If the dinar opens at 5.03, it would instantly become one of the most valuable currencies on the planet, surpassing even the British pound. The dong at 3.95 would also represent a massive surge, acknowledging Vietnam's growing economic power. For years, these currencies were held artificially low due to historical conflicts, sanctions, and rebuilding. Now, as both nations stabilize and integrate with the global economy, it makes sense for their currencies to be recalibrated. This revaluation isn't theoretical. It aligns value with actual national assets, trade potential, and international agreements. Timing is key here. The appearance of these numbers is not random. Iraq has completed crucial IMF and World Bank meetings that finalize their monetary reform, and the Central Bank of Iraq is fully prepared to execute. Vietnam's banking system has gradually integrated with international digital platforms. For people following this journey, these aren't coincidences. These are clear signs that a global currency reset could be happening right now. The timing matches perfectly with economic milestones, making this one of the most significant financial events in recent years. It's not just internal screens showing movement. International trading desks have noticed discrepancies in their systems, which typically happens right before a major rate update. Currency dealers in Europe, Dubai, and Canada temporarily paused sales of the dinar and dong, citing system updates. This phrase has historically appeared before large monetary events, signaling synchronization with global systems. When banks and trading platforms prepare for a shift, small pauses like these are telltale signs that a significant currency change is imminent. If the live numbers hold, this could be the final testing stage before public rollout. Banks have also been quietly preparing. Major institutions including Wells, Fargo, Chase, HSBC, and regional banks have updated their foreign currency exchange systems recently. Employees have noticed new rate files uploaded without public disclosure. This coincides with the live testing numbers we're seeing now and indicates preparation for a synchronized currency adjustment. The pieces fit together. Internal rate flashes, banking system updates, and dealer pauses, all part of a coordinated process to implement new values officially. Insiders reportedly anticipate imminent Tier 4B notifications, which are private alerts used to test and verify new rates with limited groups before public trading. Some exchanges may already be quietly testing these numbers in restricted environments. Historically, internal testing precedes public release by only a few days. If these high rates are appearing in tests, it strongly indicates that we are in the final phase of the revaluation process. Multiple insiders across military development and currency platforms are reporting signals that align with these live screen numbers. Many are calling this moment game over. Once these rates are live internally, the system recognizes them, meaning testing is complete and there's no turning back. The combination of meetings, bank readiness, and synchronized system updates signals that execution is underway. Once internal systems accept the new rates, the path is set for public release. For holders of the dinar and dong, this is the confirmation they've waited for years. A major financial event is unfolding right now. You might wonder why the numbers are so high. Iraq's oil reserves are among the largest in the world, ranking in the top 5 globally. Vietnam is now one of Asia's largest manufacturing hubs, competing directly with China in multiple sectors. Both countries' economies have been undervalued for decades due to political instability, sanctions, and rebuilding efforts. Now, with improved governance, infrastructure, and trade agreements, these economies fully support much higher currency valuations. The numbers appearing now are consistent with economic realities, not fantasy projections. Public reaction is intense, but quiet. Social media groups dedicated to dinar and dong communities are buzzing with excitement. Screenshots, discussions, and speculation are everywhere. Mainstream media, however, remains silent. Historically, major financial events are kept under wraps until all systems are synchronized. The silence before the storm is exactly what's happening. The world may not see public announcements yet, but financial networks are clearly active behind the scenes. Once public release occurs, the information will spread rapidly and gain global attention. Investors are already reacting. Some top currency dealers have increased minimum purchase amounts while others have stopped accepting new orders altogether. This is a sign they are preparing for a rate lock. Once new rates go live, old pricing will no longer apply. That creates urgency for anyone holding currency physically or digitally. For long-term holders, this could be the confirmation they've been waiting for. For new investors, the window to act may be very short. Historically, once internal systems go live, public exposure follows quickly. Connecting the dots shows a clear pattern. IMF and Central Bank of Iraq meetings are complete. Banking systems have been updated globally. Dealers have paused sales. Tier 4B testing chatter is rising, and now live rates are appearing on internal terminals. This coordination is undeniable. This is the product of years of preparation. Every indicator points toward imminent action. For anyone who has followed this journey, the alignment of these factors is unprecedented and signals a major shift underway. So what happens next? If internal tests are accurate, the process is straightforward. Central banks will synchronize with global forex platforms. Interbank trading will begin reflecting the new values, followed by public rates filtering down to local exchanges. Official announcements will follow, likely framed as a currency alignment or exchange rate update. When this happens, the landscape for the dinar and dong will be dramatically transformed. For currency holders, this will be a historic day, and the transition could be swift, leaving little room for hesitation. Patience has been key. For years, holders have faced doubt, speculation, and repeated delays. But today's data feels different. This is not someday soon. These numbers are real and verifiable, appearing on professional trading systems. This moment represents tangible evidence that a financial event is unfolding. Whether you are holding currency or watching from the sidelines, this is a chance to observe history in real time. Staying informed and calm is essential. It's important to remember that this is not speculation. These numbers reflect real economic potential. Iraq's oil, natural resources, and growing trade position combined with Vietnam's manufacturing strength and regional influence make these currencies increasingly valuable. The sudden appearance of 503 and 395 may shock some, But when you consider fundamentals, they align closely with what these economies deserve. This is about alignment with actual economic strength and global standards. History is unfolding before our eyes. So what should you do? Stay calm, stay informed, and understand that this is a major shift in real time. Live rates have appeared, banks are updating systems, and dealers are pausing sales. The evidence is clear. The next 24 to 48 hours could be monumental. This may very well be the moment every dinar and dong holder has waited for. The financial landscape is about to change forever. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because we'll break down every step as it happens. History is unfolding and we're here to watch it. The official government gazette has just been released. And for the first time ever, it confirms the Iraqi Dinar redemption timeline. This isn't based on leaks, insiders, or social media chatter. This is published legal official government information, and it is sending shockwaves through Tier 4B and the private exchange communities worldwide. People who have been holding, watching, and waiting for this confirmation are stunned, exhilarated, and in many cases in disbelief. Today's video will break down exactly what the Gazette says, what it means for the revaluation, and why this could be the final countdown before redemptions start. Stay with me, because this update changes everything. To start, let's clarify what the Gazette is and why it matters so much. The Gazette is Iraq's official government publication, similar to Federal Register in the United States. It is the platform where all laws, financial regulations, government resolutions, and official decrees are published for public record. In short, when something appears in the Gazette, it is not rumor. It is law, policy, and fact. The October 27 issue has a section specifically addressing Iraq's currency reform, detailing the redenomination and revaluation processes. The language is precise. It states that the central bank has finalized a structured exchange mechanism for domestic and international settlements, and that the phased implementation will occur before the end of the fiscal cycle. In practical terms, this means Iraq has prepared the infrastructure, coordinated with international banking systems, and is now ready to roll out the new currency procedures. For those in Tier 4B and other private holder communities, this is the official green light that the wait is almost over. Now let's talk about what this means for the phased rollout of the currency reform. According to the Gazette, the process is divided into 3 phases, each with a specific function and timeline. Phase 1 is domestic activation. This phase involves Iraq's banks, ministries, and internal payment systems switching over to the new dinar rate. Phase 2 is international synchronization. This is when global banking networks, including Forex and SWIFT systems, begin using the updated exchange rate. Phase 3 is redemption and exchange. The phase Tier 4B holders have been waiting for. It's the point where private holders can finally exchange their dinar at the official rate. What's remarkable is that Phase 1 and Phase 2 are reportedly already in progress. Local banks in Baghdad have been updating their internal systems. Employees have been preparing for recalibration, and some ATMs have been temporarily offline for updates. Everything happening now aligns perfectly with the timeline outlined in the Gazette. The excitement in the Tier 4B community cannot be overstated. This is not speculation or rumor. It's written proof from the government itself across various private channels and groups. The reaction has ranged from shock to pure adrenaline. People who have been following every update, every leak, and every insider report for years now see validation that the currency reform is real and active. Internal memos, system updates, and back-end changes are all occurring in sync with the Gazette's timeline, giving Tier 4B members confidence that redemptions are approaching rapidly. The fact that Iraq's central bank is working in coordination with international institutions signals that the rollout is being synchronized with global financial systems, ensuring a smooth transition. This means that when the redemption phase begins, holders can expect their exchanges to be handled efficiently without major disruptions or delays. The timeline is crucial, and according to internal notes related to the Gazette, the redemption phase could begin any day now. The fiscal quarter ends on November 1st, and the Gazette explicitly mentions implementation before the fiscal close. That places us in a very tight window, literally days away from seeing official exchanges begin. Signs supporting this timeline are already visible. Banks are recalibrating their systems. Online banking platforms are pausing certain transactions, and back-end updates for international synchronization are taking place. Payroll adjustments and brief payment delays in Iraq indicate that internal systems are being updated to reflect the new rates. All of these events match the standard procedure that occurs before a currency reform goes live. For holders, this means it is time to prepare, but also to remain calm because the system is in place and the official launch is imminent. Let's talk about the new rate and what people are speculating. Based on verified internal economic sources, the projected international rate could fall around $4.25 USD per 1 Iraqi dinar. Some early calculations suggest the initial market rate might start slightly lower around $3.90 USD before stabilizing at the higher international figure. If this materializes, it would make the Iraqi dinar one of the strongest currencies in the world, surpassing even the Kuwaiti dinar in certain projections tied to oil revenue. Remember, this is not fantasy. Before the 1990 sanctions, the dinar was valued above $3.20 USD, when Iraq had fewer resources and less financial infrastructure. Today, with record oil exports, significant gold reserves, and digital banking modernization, these numbers are realistic. This revaluation represents more than just monetary gain. It signals a restoration of Iraq's financial sovereignty and a global acknowledgement of its economic progress. The Tier 4B community is especially impacted by today's Gazette confirmation. Private investors have been anticipating this moment for years, and the official timeline validates their patience and preparation following the Gazette release, translation verification, and screenshots spreading across channels. There was an immediate reaction of relief and disbelief. Many members had doubts until the official documentation themselves, and once verified, the excitement shifted into strategic readiness. Some private exchange centers, particularly in the U.S., reportedly received internal memos confirming they are prepared to execute redemptions once the system goes live. The synchronization of domestic and international banking updates shows that the process is not only real, but also imminent. This coordination ensures a smooth redemption phase with minimal risk of delays, which is exactly what private holders have been waiting for. This update is significant not only for investors, but also for Iraq itself. For decades, the country has struggled with inflation, corruption, and a currency that failed to reflect its true economic power. The revaluation and redenomination process addresses these structural weaknesses. It restores trust in the national currency, strengthens the purchasing power of ordinary Iraqis, and stabilizes trade both regionally and globally. This currency reform is more than an investment opportunity. It's a national reset. When the new rate goes live, Iraqis will have confidence in using their own currency at a level that aligns with the country's economic growth. Investors and private holders benefit from a stable and verified redemption process, while the Iraqi economy gains international recognition, improved trade credibility, and renewed confidence from global financial institutions. Let's examine the international dimension of this rollout. The Gazette notes coordination with global financial institutions, which means the reform is integrated with SWIFT, international forex markets, and other regional settlement platforms. The IMF and World Bank have reportedly reviewed Iraq's new exchange model and confirmed that all structural benchmarks for international reintegration have been met. This ensures that when the new rate is visible globally, transactions, cross-border payments, and settlements will proceed without complications. In essence, Iraq has successfully aligned its currency reform with international standards, signaling to investors worldwide that the dinar is now recognized as a stable and legitimate currency. This international approval is critical because it prevents potential market disruptions and guarantees that the redemption phase will be executed under secure, compliant, and officially sanctioned protocols. Practical steps for Tier 4B holders are also clarified in the Gazette. Once the redemption phase begins, banks and authorized senders will receive official memos confirming they can execute exchanges. Holders will be notified to schedule appointments through verified channels, ensuring authenticity and security. Verification procedures will be required, including examination of serial numbers, authentication stamps, and the physical condition of dinar notes. Once verified, the exchange rate will be locked in at the official international value, and funds will be deposited according to account type and banking regulations. Some centers may offer structured payout options depending on institutional policies. The key takeaway is that holders should not rush or panic. They must wait for verified communication and instructions to avoid scams and unauthorized offers. Preparation and patience are crucial at this stage. Evidence that the system is active is already emerging. Banks recalibrating systems, brief pauses in domestic payroll processing, forex server synchronization, and temporary ATM downtime All indicate that internal infrastructure is being updated to reflect the new rates. These are consistent signs preceding a major currency reform, and they align with the Gazette's published timeline. It demonstrates that the central bank and financial institutions are actively implementing the steps necessary for a smooth transition for holders. These developments provide confidence that the redemption process is not just theoretical, it is happening in real time. Observing these signs also helps investors anticipate and prepare for the final phase, ensuring readiness when the system officially goes live.